We are back on MorningLine. Thanks for joining us. Allison Fields is with us. She's our veterinarian, resident veterinarian, here to answer your questions, 737-7587. We've got Lisa that waited through the break. We'll go to Lisa. Lisa, good morning. Hi,
Morning, Lisa.
Good morning.
Morning.
My question is about my pet. I have a 11-year-old lab, and she has had multiple surgeries. She's had a torn ACL and a mast cell tumor removed both on her back legs. And I've given her the Dosequin for maybe the last year, and I don't see it working. And she still wants to be active, but I'm starting to see her act like she might be in a little pain. Other than the Dosequin, could I add something? Should I change something? What could I do to ease her pain?
That's a great question. So Dosequin is a joint supplement, and what it does is it gives dogs the building blocks to make more joint fluid. So arthritis in and of itself, let's say this is where two bones meet in a joint, a knee. There's juice, for lack of a better word, joint fluid in between these bones that keep them from rubbing on each other. There's a little bit of cartilage and stuff like that as well. So what happens is as we get older, we kind of dry up, everybody, and we lose joint fluid, and our cartilage kind of shrinks, and it's not as puffy, and these things can start rubbing on each other. So Dosequin has stuff in it that can help make more joint fluid, gives them the building blocks to do that. It also has some mild anti-inflammatories and can help with a little bit of pain depending on which version you're using and all of that. It's a great product. It is doing probably a good job, and without it we would not be seeing what we're seeing, but I think that it might be time to talk to your vet and maybe add in an anti-inflammatory, not ibuprofen, but we have specific anti-inflammatories. Carprofen is one, sounds a lot like ibuprofen, where dogs can't tolerate and metabolize ibuprofen. We can't tolerate and metabolize carprofen.
Okay.
It is for dogs.
Gotcha.
But Rimadyl is the brand name of that. There's lots of different brands of carprofen. There's Daracoxib, meloxicam. There are several, if not a handful, of anti-inflammatories that work well in dogs and are great for arthritis pain. So I would definitely talk to your vet and say, you know, we've been doing well, but I have noticed these changes, and what can we do? Most veterinarians will recommend blood work before we start these anti-inflammatories to make sure our liver and kidney functions are okay, because even though they are meant for dogs and cats, they can have side effects. Not very many of them are meant for cats. We'll get back to that. But it is important to make sure our liver and kidney functions are good before we start these, and most veterinarians will check blood work every 6 months while we're on these drugs.
Sometimes when we've asked about this for our dogs, we've been told that, again, we've talked about this, but glucosamine and chondroitin,
so
do those
Dosequin
sometimes?
has that in there.
It's the same type of thing. Okay, which
so
does, okay.
Glucosamine and chondroitin, just in and of themselves, are good. They don't have as much. Dosequin is proprietary, meant for animals, and it has that and other things, MSM, ascorbic acid, a lot of things that are great for joints.
All right.
You also need to be aware of the fact that, and this goes for people as well, if you go to Walgreens and you buy the 1,000-count bottle of glucosamine chondroitin, it's $20. It has been manufactured in a laboratory, and the ability of our bodies to utilize these supplements that are not natural is about 15 to 20%. Naturally derived supplements, if you went to GNC or a health food store or someplace like that, you're probably going to find the same product for about 30 or 40 bucks.
Yeah, more expensive.
They're more expensive, but they're naturally derived, and our ability as well as the animal's ability to absorb and utilize those, called bioavailability, is about 85%.
So in the long run, you're getting a better deal by buying.
In the long run, you're getting a better deal because you bought a 1,000-count bottle, but only 150 to 200 of them are actually going to do you any good.
That's right. That's right.
Whereas your 100-count bottle, or whatever 200-count bottle, you're going to get use out of all of them.
Great point.
Same thing with the ones meant specifically for animals, Dosequin, Cosequin, Glycoflex, Ficox. There are a lot of them out there. Talk to your veterinarian and they can help you find the right one for your pet.
Does fish oil play a role in any of this?
It does, and a lot of these joint supplements have some omega-3 or omega-6s in them. It's one of those things that in and of itself, it's not going to do a whole lot of good, but in combination with other things, it can be very helpful.
All right. Yeah, it's mostly in dogs as they start aging, right? Most of the time, it's like you said. We get older, we dry up. I love that. And you're so right. It's like, and then you get bone on bone, and it hurts.
And a dog that's had a cruciate tear has had surgical repair of that. Any kind of surgical bone repair, you're going to be prone to arthritis.
Yeah, and I know a lot of dogs also have hip problems when they get older.
Large breeds especially.
Our pug Rocky, you know, who's recovered after he was injured a bit, but he was having hip problems anyway. He gets around now. He's stiff. He can't climb stairs anymore.
Buddy.
Yeah, so we pick him up, take him out. It's no problem. He gets around, but he's definitely getting older. Let's go to Carol. Carol, good morning. Hi, Carol.
Yes.
Yeah, how can we help you?
Morning.
The last time the vet was on, I was giving my dog Rimadyl, and I tried her with the Cosequin, and since then I've took her off the Rimadyl. I had to take her to the vet to make sure the Rimadyl wasn't affecting her kidneys, and it wasn't. She was fine. But since then, I've tried just the Cosequin DS, and she seems to be doing fine without the Rimadyl.
Good, yeah.
Should I continue giving her the Rimadyl, or just let her do the Cosequin DS?
Well, I think if you're telling me that she's okay without the Rimadyl now that she's on the Cosequin, I would do that until she's no longer okay. So a joint supplement could, I say, buy us some time. Like the other lady's dog had been on Dasequin, which is very similar, for a year, and now it doesn't seem to be giving as much. So it can buy us time to keep these dogs comfortable and non-painful. At some point, we will need to add in the anti-inflammatory. So I think that if your dog is doing fine on the Cosequin, by all means, let's just stay with that for now. Don't stop it. But understand that at some point, you're probably going to need to go back on the Rimadyl.
And again, both those drugs she was talking about, same thing for inflammatory and arthritis in the joints. Yeah, but if it's not, if she doesn't think she needs it, just go with it for a while. Very good. All right, I wanted to ask you about things that dogs will eat in the yard. I had a friend who used to have a pug. Oh, right, they can eat just about, and dogs, not cats.
Right.
But a friend whose pugs used to eat these mushrooms that would come up.
Right.
Anyway, so I noticed in our yard, we've had a very wet July, of course, and because of the heat and the moisture, there was a mushroom that just came up, and there's some smaller ones maybe I don't see. There was one, and I went out, and as soon as I saw it, I just took a shovel, took it, and removed it. I don't know. I mean, my understanding is that most of these mushrooms are bad for you, and you do not ever want to take a chance with them. But will dogs just go eat them?
Yes. And so this has always been something that I've been very concerned / confused. Because I am certain that these mushrooms, because I get them maybe once or twice a year, really wet, and they're these black mushrooms, and they look like something that, you know, Hansel and Gretel's witch would have thrown in the cauldron, and I'm like,
out of here.
And they make me very nervous, and I was very nervous that Harper would get them and eat them, and I don't think she ever has. She might have. Honestly, but there are cases of mushroom ingestion that can be toxic to dogs. I am not a fungologist? I don't even know what that.
The best rule of thumb is don't mess with any mushroom. Don't eat it yourself. And if your dog eats it, it's trouble. You go.
But is it? We don't know.
No, that's just it. I mean, you don't. So you don't take a chance.
I mean, you can take that mushroom and take it to the vet, and we're going to be like, I don't know what kind of mushroom that is. So I think that in the big scheme of things, there have probably been millions of dogs that have eaten mushrooms,
and you don't know it.
Maybe got a little gastrointestinal upset, and then they're fine.
Yeah.
But there are also probably some out there that ate them and could have died from them. So I think that that's something that is, there's so many types of mushrooms, and they're so different just based on location, that if they're, you know, get them out throw them out, get them out of your yard, and do your best.
Yeah, you're right. What it was, the only way they know is that the dog then shows symptoms. They're sick, say, oh, I got to take the dog to the vet. And then
Right.
they get them to throw up. They ate these mushrooms. You don't know what they are, but you
Right.
assume that's what made them sick.
Right.
You don't see them eat it.
Right.
You don't most of the time. I'll say this.
Correct.
I was once a camp counselor, and before the campers came, they took us out and trained us with mushrooms, never to pick them, but just to let people know the dangers. And I go, what's that pretty white one? And they go, that's a death cap.
Right.
And I'm like, you don't even want to touch that. That's got, like, if you were to ingest it, 3 types of toxins, meaning if you eat it, you have no chance, because by the time the doctors treat one of the toxins, the other one's 3 toxins that attack you. And it's like the most deadly mushroom on earth. I'm like, why is it even growing out here? My God, I just remember seeing that.
You can't stop it.
And so, yeah, but it was the most innocuous little fluffy little white mushroom. Oh, it looks fun.
Funguses are pretty
I don't mess with it.
impressive. Do you know that a fungus is the reason we're losing all of our amphibians? Toads, frogs, salamanders. There's some other kind of amphibian.
Why is
I
it?
forget. It damages their skin. It infects their skin.
Oh, that's awful.
And amphibians breathe. They get some oxygen through their skin. They get most of their moisture through their skin because they have osmosis that goes back and forth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're actually like dehydrating and dying. And this is a big problem. And it's a fungus. I mean, funguses are pretty...
Fungus. It's
There's a
among
fungus
us.
among us.
We'll take a break.
Yeah.
You were going there. When we come back, we can take more phone calls. The number is 737-7587 if you want to join us for Allison Fields Talking Your Pets right after this.